From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger, and you know, today's the day. It's the transition day. We're going from the warm and dry conditions to cooler and wetter conditions. Not so wet today, at least for most of the day, but certainly a lot cooler out there in the overcast skies that we've seen here throughout the morning hours. I do expect tonight into Thursday morning to be the main event, if you will. And that's when I expect some of the heaviest rainfall, the strongest winds, right? And then it looks like after that, anything we do see will be some showers that'll be kind of pushing through the area with some weak disturbances pushing through. We're also talking about those gusty winds, 40, even 50 miles per hour. Snow levels a bit higher than initially thought, but still about 6,000 feet or higher. Now this cool and unsettled weather pattern, you'll notice, number one, it's going to be cooler out there. It's not going to get much warmer with the exception of Saturday. We'll get into that. But it's going to be more of a cool and unsettled weather pattern, just kind of sticking around for a while. So here's what we expect for the rest of the day today. Evening showers, especially for places like Trinity County, North Coast, and Siskiyou County. The valley may even see a sprinkle or light shower late this afternoon as well. But again, the heavier rainfall holding off until really, quite honestly, tomorrow morning, not necessarily even tonight. So you can see that cold front off to our west. That's what's approaching. Behind it, you've got a big area of low pressure spinning, and it's digging more and more to the south, which will eventually break off from that upper level flow, which as a result tends to make the forecast a little tricky because exactly where that low goes will depend on whether or not we see rain as we go into the weekend and even into early next week. See that area of low pressure down to the south over Southern California, and then it kind of pushes to our north and east, giving us maybe a shot for some showers on Sunday. And then another system possibly coming in on Monday, giving us another shot at some rain by early next week. But again, none of these storm systems after tonight and tomorrow morning are going to be quite as impressive. But the wind's picking up at times and seeing some showers in there, but still fairly high snow levels. So let's walk you through the time to get it all with Futurecast. So as we take you into about 5 o'clock, yeah, maybe a few stray showers for parts of the valley late this afternoon. And to the west of that, parts of Siskiyou County, Trinity County, Del Norte, Humboldt counties, right? All seeing the potential for a little bit of light shower activity here late this afternoon. But even as we go into midnight tonight, the first batch of heavier rainfall just hitting the coast. But overall, not a lot of activity out there. A few light showers for the valley, but fairly dry east of that. Then we go into the early morning hours, and now we're seeing the heavier rainfall. In fact, the rain looks heavier for the valley as it moves through than it will be for the north coast. So actually, we may see more rain in the valley than the coast out of this storm system. Then we go through the morning hours on Thursday. I expect a pretty good steady stream of rain through the morning hours on Thursday for the valley and east of that as well. And then things start to dry out to the west of the valley. Then we take into Thursday afternoon. Most of the rain is to the east. Scattered showers for the afternoon on Thursday for the valley. But once again, not very much activity to the west of the valley, including the coast. Now, you'll see that area of low pressure spinning off to our west. Where exactly it goes will depend on who sees the rain. As it stands right now, most of it will be over Southern California on Friday, leaving us with fairly dry conditions on Friday. Then we go into Saturday. That's going to try to work its way northward. Look at this. Saturday morning, 8 a.m., still rain to our south. We're dry. We're dry Saturday afternoon, but you can see rotating around that area of low pressure on the back side of it, we could see some showers developing, especially east of the valley. Modoc County, Lassen, Plumas counties, and even the mountains just east of the valley as well. Then Saturday night into Sunday, some of that could make its way even more, giving us a better shot at some rain, again, mainly in the eastern mountains and Modoc County, but some of it could work its way into the valley as well. That's through Sunday midday. But the last few frames, you can see that that's actually going to start to eventually push to the east, and then we're going to be watching some activity coming in from the Pacific Ocean as we go into Monday and even Tuesday. Now, this is what I was talking about. Since the main flow is coming from the south instead of the southwest and even more from the west, this is going to translate into more rain because the flow will be mainly over the valley for a good portion of the morning on Thursday, but not as much of that flow making its way into the coast. So as a result, we'll probably see over an inch of rain in the valley, but less than that for the coast. Now, because of that southerly flow of winds too, that is going to create some orographic lifting, so the mountains north of the valley will see a nice stream of moisture as well with 2 to maybe 3 inches of rain. And then, of course, to the east of that, some heavier rainfall in some of those eastern foothills as well, but not as much for Modoc County or even Susanville. Now, snow looks like that is going to be fairly minimal as well. You have to go up above 6,000 feet and higher before you start seeing any accumulating snow. So really not much of an impact for us when it comes to snow. However, the Sierra, that's a different story, especially Thursday into Friday and even Saturday. I've seen that potential. Upwards of 1 to 2 feet of snow, but that's mainly above 8,000 to 9,000 feet. But chain requirements are certainly going to be a very good possibility over the higher mountain passes of the Sierra come Thursday, Friday, and most likely even into your Saturday as well. Now the winds are going to hold off a little bit as well. Now midnight tonight, the strongest winds are west of the valley, but they're beginning to pick up even for the valley and the eastern mountains. And then in the morning hours, now we're talking 30 and even 40 miles per hour for the valley. And then that shifts eastward. Still a bit breezy for Thursday night and even Friday morning, but by Friday afternoon, most of those winds are gone and looks like fairly calm winds through the day on Saturday as well. So you get the idea. Most of that rain, most of the wind is going to be late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and then those winds and rain, of course, lingers through the day on Thursday. So for your Wednesday, we're beginning to feel that cooler air. Of course, the overcast skies is helping that, but generally in the mid to even upper 60s for the valley. Generally in the upper 50s to low 60s in the mountains, although some of the inland areas low 70s. And it looks like temperatures in the mid 60s for the coast. Now for tonight, not very cold. Most areas, with the exception of some of the highest elevations like Lassen Park and even Chester, you're in the upper 30s. But pretty much everywhere else, you're going to be looking at temperatures more like the 40s in the mountains and in the 50s for the coast and for the valley. So we look at that 7-day outlook, it's going to be changing every day. And by the time you're watching my evening forecast, this will most likely change as well. So bottom line, we got the rain on Thursday for the valley. Gusty winds. By Thursday afternoon, scattered showers. Now, there may be some lingering showers Friday morning, but for the most part, Friday will be dry. Saturday at this point looks dry. And then maybe some showers come Sunday into Monday. But then maybe even drying out. Now, I am seeing signs now of maybe some rain lingering into Tuesday as well. So again, this is one of those things where the forecast models are kind of going back and forth and a little wishy-washy, if you will, making it difficult for us to know exactly what's going to happen. For the coast, inland, and for Trinity County, you're looking at the chances for rain as well. Bottom line, off and on chances for rain. This is a typical cool and unsettled weather pattern that's moving on in. It's going to stick around. Once it moves on in, it's beginning to move in as we speak and will stick around at least for the next 7 to even possibly 10 days. All right, that's your afternoon update. I'll be back again this evening with your latest Check Your Weather. Much deeper dive into the forecast coming up at 6 o'clock. Until then, have a great afternoon.